I'm here. There's a line of people trying to go in. I mean, I don't know if it's related, but. Oh, that is a. So yeah, that's the line.
to just think like the whole thing about yeah.
No, she parked. That was she was just
the oval triangular head plate with the plate adapter, which is on the edge of the top shelf of the camera.
Chairs here for us.
And also some
They're not.
go between the stuff.
How's it going?
Yeah, but we're in the shade every day. It's cold. Where you parked?
All the way over to City Hall.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm gonna ask
The
Joe.
CPI just came by and said you're parked over here, and then you're gonna give tickets out. I'm parked in Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Ferry drive, you paid an extra $9. I think you paid $40.
Yeah.
You pay for the cab or the office cab. Nothing low.
You're using the own equipment, or
All I have is stick mic and excellent. And a lavalier. That's all I own.
yeah, I keep my gear in the car. I'm maintaining. Yep.
你又唔關佢事嘅，把鎖你冇鎖芯問題。屌你老母，你鎖芯好撚流嘅，你死人大力鎖。
Step back because we need to like. You already went in? Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Happy New Year. That would be the best party on Sunday or Monday.
But maybe for another day or.
Oh, you already got this.
Yeah, I got it. Send it back then.
Catch up with you, man.
Thank you, that'd be wonderful.
the hand go funny. The one you can't get that.
How are you? Nice to see you.
No, they are. Oh, they are? I mean, that's what I told you. Oh.
Where is it coming that way?
It wasn't shame.
No, they haven't told us anything.
Thank you.
Up to 16. I said, I'll even go 18. I don't give a shit. But somebody's got to pay.
Jake.
No, Jason.
Yeah.
I think the horses are going that way.
Oh, yes.
Although the DA is probably
How many of them are? We're about 20.
Josh.
Yeah.
I just don't remember. No, I remember what we need to get through. How many forms do we get?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Don't worry, I know who you are. Okay. Hello, Al. Thank you, thank you. If you have your pass out, you can use your laptop. Hey, Jeremy. Pass out for laptop.
Thank you.
Pass out for laptop. No cell phones. Pass out for laptop. Pass out to use the laptop. Yep, you got it. Good, good, good. You got a laptop? I use your laptop. Take notes. Pass out laptop. You got it now. Good. Adam. Pass out. You have a pass? Pass test?
This is mine. Yeah. Thanks, Al.
Good, Corey. Andrew. Good, Maria. Good. Yeah, it's on the feed. It's going to the Washington AP. Everybody's going to get it, just the way it was in the proceeding. All the people will get the audio feed through the pool feed.
Hey Brendan, how you doing? Last hurrah. Final encore. I don't want to jinx it. Thank you very much.
Morning. You got it up? You can use it. You got it up.
Morning.
It's like a reunion. Old home week.
It's up to you. You can toggle. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So I think, I don't know if spoke to me here. You want me to just want to know. Because choose to be in the open front, right? Correct. So, Great, I'll go down. Do you want to say anything? I think there's 30.
Swap out the card. You have James and this.
Right. That's the edge. You're the best. No, really. Let me just.
Yep.
No, I told them, I already described to them. Oh, they're going to, Sean, thank you. They're going to do it. Just make sure you put it. I drew a picture for you. They're going to go this way. They're going to go in. It's beautiful drawing. And they're just going to do these two things. They're just going to show this. They're not going to do this. All right. I'll tell them again. Oh, you would Shane. Yeah. Okay, so Shane is in there. Yes.
Give me that pass back.
And even take that one there. He's going to switch.
Conti, take that 3 spots.
This way, sir. Wait. This way. Okay. Yes. You want PDA?
For the laptop. Correct. If I don't have the big press pass, no laptop in there.
No laptop, if you don't have the New York City government issued ID.
Okay.
You have to have this.
All right, well then I'll do the
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Okay. It'll be on screen. You already got to sign to be on the screen. Right, the team's going to be on. The judge will have to on the set. So you don't have to worry about that. Just have the resident
Just once you call down,
They can't use it. That's why they keep it up there.
Don't be spinning around, you know, like, just keep it, break the screen, some defense in that kind of race.
When they're less count.
Unless they want to be in change, make sure you Sean's in there, you need to
Oh, in here? I think the people are going to come out of here because they're so concerned. I'm not going to stop that.
Alex, that's how we got public coming in.
No. Well, they're still trying. They'll try it.
Just hang out.
Guys, a couple of you remember from the trial, just wanted no electronics, no cell phones, no outbursts, no, you know, gentlemen, no hats. And
That's it.
I think here, I think.
No, I know you don't make rules.
I'm just saying, I'm not you can't be in there.
Back them straight up.
she was a last minute.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how many people with the New York City use, right? I'm going to be over there. I mean, that's
David's right behind me.
So that's everyone? And Julie is next. And Julie is next.
There's a couple shots.
Yes.
You're all there. You're all there.
Let me know when you go with that. Because I'm putting everything here right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Where's the parents tonight? They put it in the news.
My brother's the son, so.
Where's the party?
You handed me this stack when you were counting. You hold this, and then it came in handy because people were swapping, rooms.
What?
This is what you handed me when you were counting green ones.
Did you take parts?
Well, some that they were swapping out. Al or somebody else were telling me that they're swapping the green for the. That's what you handed me. I have a few that I gave to other people, and then I gave you the ones that I took.
Mine's expired. Within reason, Jake.
All right.
Yeah, man.
What day is today even?
Except for us.
1, 2, no?
1, 2, 3, 4, and Curtis. I like how I'm not on that number.
I didn't see Curtis, sorry.
Oh, Curtis.
1, 2, 3, 4, and Curtis.
That's it.
Like guys, girls, and Curtis.
You're special.
You say so.
We got 1 minute.
Spread out like my cameras are out. Everything sitting on the subway.
What?
Oh, you told me that. Like,
The self-timer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like shooting, and I'm like, what, why is it not firing? And then
I've done that
I got
too.
the floor, I'm like,
Thank you, Curtis. Because you're the only one facing backwards. That way.
got an exclusive.
That's the point. One person is doing that.
Everybody gets.
Depends on your definition of the end game, Jeff. It's been open for a week.
It's been open for like 3 days.
Lucy sent out a tweet the other day. I thought it was last week. Oh, yeah. She wants to get rid of you?
No. Really? Really?
She's insane. I wouldn't let you go.
I don't know who's gonna come in New York then.
They might be hiring someone else.
And Kelly.
Yes.
No, we already
Because Pablo
have,
and Evan
right?
don't like you. Yeah, because the two people who make decisions hate you. Fucking Evan, how awesome you are. One more time. I'm gonna release pictures of wings.
You're pretty.
Yeah. When he was here, when they were here in December, I did. He leans over and goes, of course I do. I see them. I go, I don't know.
Sorry.
It's the last day. Hopefully I'll be drunk by 1. Sleep by 3. Oh, I had one drink last night, one cocktail after I got home. Oh yeah, I was passed out on my couch. Did you? I was on the phone my whole train ride. We were at the funeral. She was here.
I am just communicating.
That's right. That was nice.
Saw you up there. How you doing, man? Trying to catch up with you a little bit now.
Yeah, you married into it.
No, I actually did. They weren't gonna like.
Oh really?
They like closed it off at first, and then I went like, where you eat.
I would think the PIO would be like, let's go. Yes.
The PAO didn't. Okay, so it's like it's on the base, but it's like I mean, one system is separate command. So he didn't even realize that they closed it off. And he like sent the guy with like system form, like this says that I can't compromise. Anyways, and
Margaret.
He's with the, what is it, oil?
Did you do that at like 8,000 for the second.
No, actually, it was down to 200.
Really?
Yeah. I was like at F4, like, it was bright light, I was shooting.
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
And then I was just getting smoked, so I had to go down to like F22 and then 200.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I saw that last night. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. She's standing behind the cannon as it's going off and it's exploding. It's cool as fuck.
Why did you go to the Connecticut? You raised in? What do you opt for, like, going to the next one?
It was because 21 guns sold for Carter. It's when it was right off the
It was. It was in all the slideshows. Well, when I say all the slideshows, I look at three. Yeah, well, yes.
Those are the ones posted in the Slack channel.
Are they? Because they used to. They used to. Yeah. And when you're over a certain age, AOL is. I use it. Yeah. Me too. I use mine.
Don't have a I have a hot nail.
Oh, I had CompuServe and 80, just 87, 88, and you had numbers.
Yeah.
That was Al Gore. Al Gore invented the internet. Al Gore, he was third row, right behind the former president.
That's right.
Oh, yeah?
She said she has some conflict schedule, whatever.
Everybody else is acknowledged.
That's very obvious.
Oh, did she? Yeah. Yes. Oh, I didn't see that. But
No, because they use those in the actual walls.
yep.
It's like SWAT moves, they use the sandbags. Yep. Then they switch to the circles.
Yeah, I mean, that
Carry it herpes back.
you have to take it time back. I was just thinking. And the mud all the way around, destroy your feet. So expensive. So expensive.
Exactly.
Like, I would always do like a season pass just to trifecta.
Follow suits.
I remember my friend, his parents got him unlimited any race. This is the first one I read is 16. Oh yeah. I was like, please don't break a leg, please don't break a leg. That was so much fun.
Al, I'm not gonna argue. Let him have it. I don't.
One second. New York City pass. They won't let me take my laptop. Yeah, they won't let me take my laptop. You know? You do?
Just make sure you have no electronics.
Yeah, I got you.
You already watched TV at 6 in the morning?
They made the decision, we made the decision. I would support it. I don't need to make a decision, but I agree. So I just made the announcement that they would do it. But I reiterate that our photos are going out. Thank you. Sorry for that.
We're all like,
So we get beat, and then she said, well, why didn't you do this? The person in charge of that decision is the guy who also decided to fire the guy who won the last 6 political, last 4 Because she's not staffing. From that in Ferguson. Still
Enjoy that freedom.
And then Saturday, I would
How many rounds? 5? That's why they said to take like 3 days somewhere where you can turn off your brain. Because they don't get first year is 2 weeks, second year is 3 weeks, fourth year 4 weeks, 10 years 5 weeks. 5 weeks. He also Kevin does small. Kevin doesn't know. You can bank her. I have 100 books. Oh, you're going long. That's right. I'm just trying to balance. If you're going to go long, I'll do wide.
Can you still try to jam? Sure. That's okay. Sure. Not just tag. It's illegal to do that.
Yeah. You start 2 weeks later. You start 2 weeks later. That's not a long break.
This way, the first day we was doing DC, we was doing the first day we were doing like cell instructions, how we stacked in. So the first day, when I went to had legs and I went to tackles. Yo, when I hit him, all I heard was.
What about holidays?
I was like, listen,
We have it sure, like, I think we did. So the holidays follow soccer, some holidays. I think we have. We have 11. I know.
They were showing it earlier, like for the red zone one box.
Once we get started.
Yeah.
No, no.
Come home last night. My kids had 7 I'm like, do you know how much this is going to cost me? Yeah, they don't pay.
Heat is not included in your bill?
No. We have to pay because it's electric.
Oh.
So you have to pay your electric.
Shit. Heat on it.
Yeah, me too. Every day.
For electric? You don't even get that in the summer, it's barely maybe.
On a normal one, I pay your $300.
Ours is like 80 or 90.
Yeah. 3 bedrooms. And children have 6 things going at once.
Leave all the lights on when they leave.
Well, lights on, that doesn't matter. You can always do lights on. But it's the other shit. Crank. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the child had it from something.
If it's hot outside, how warm the house is.
Yeah.
If it's cold
I
outside.
sleep with the window open this much in the winter because the radiators are so hot. Wow. Blast. Have like humidifier going, the windows open, and still.
For me, that would be ideal to do that. Nice steam heat, and leave a crack in the windows so the cold air comes in.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Lightheaded. You didn't eat anything?
like the fact that this is a public hallway.
Headed.
It's the heat in the hallway. It's hot.
I don't know.
Hey, Coach. Ready? You good? Where's my clock? Yeah.
5 minutes?
Yeah, we're ready to roll.
Oh, ready?
Yeah, we're all ready. Yeah.
You always kind of like, I'm gonna marry. Please don't say you're married. What happened? 1, 2, 3, 4.
We better on the principles. Is this not the way to back?
Curtis? 4 and Curtis. There's Curtis. He's coming right here. 4 and Curtis.
I'm 4 and Curtis. I didn't root it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take that soon. You good? All right, good.
Stay ready, they just might be setting them up.
I think that's exactly what. I don't know if you're using your cell phone. Yeah, well, that's that. Just say we're running through the judge's chambers. Oh. They were over there.
Yeah, I had to put it down with it. My head is still different. Put it down.
There's a cafeteria on the first floor. You can get those.
You know what? I think that I didn't eat like nutritiously for breakfast.
Yeah, important. No. I'll get some eggs now. Yep. Pretty good price too. Hmm?
That was super weird.
Not working. Yeah, they already. I saw that.
Both sides?
Emil Bow.
I did not see him.
Him himself is fine, right, with the audience?
What?
Him himself.
Yes. Nice that the camera on them was out of focus. Yep.
Wow. I felt great about it.
Well, Trump has just like had his head on.
Yep.
I didn't realize you can't shoot the back of his head when he walked in.
It's always been the rule. Remember? We shut it down.
Yeah.
Just don't move it.
No.
You don't want to be D?
It's not a good photo anyway.
least 15, 20 minutes, probably longer. Right?
Prosecutor says, we agree on the sentence. The defense, we agree on the sentence. All right, the defendant, do you have anything to say before I pass sentence? That's where they might go on.
Oh, they're gonna give him a chance to speak?
Yeah, you always get a chance.
I shot at 24, I shot at 35, I shot at 50.
See, the problem is he's disseminating so much bad information, it just causes a firestorm. Say, if his mouth is moving, he's lying. Oh, he's left.
No, he's not allowed in here. I have, there was a specific amount. Sorry, love, but it's cool. Yeah, I have a list.
Like I said, you might have a few minutes right now.
Hopefully it's not remember.
Did anybody come of the lawyer or no, nobody's come?
Somehow they're all silent. How did he get in?
Back there, and then
They let him in?
looks like it. I know, he's a lawyer.
You're not allowed in here, Lev. It's cool.
May I place you?
No, it's cool. Fuck out. Jesus.
Are you okay? Okay, here's the deal. They brought everybody in the back of the court. If you want to go warm up, I'll let you know when it's over. And maybe one of us can get to the voting place. Maybe that's probably where they brought everybody in.
That would be the next place to
Go
go.
warm up, I'll give you a heads up. Two prosecutors, but they won't be three, it'll just be a under both. All right?
Hilarious. It's an agency.
He doesn't, I mean, meaning he's a contributor,
Yeah.
No?
not a stringer. I think.
It's not.
I like Lev a lot.
I like him too, but
Rodden, Reagan.
Oh, Leslie, I don't know.
Hey, dude. What's up?
He may be test negative. So you still may be okay.
Yeah.
fiscal year. What'd you say?
I said you're a very generous man, and you generally give really nice gifts.
Yeah, I didn't give you your envelope yet.
Yeah, where's my envelope? Yeah, I know.
Nobody at court.
Yeah. Yeah. And but it's back focus. The flag, the focus is on the flag.
Is it usable?
Huh?
Is it usable?
But, I mean, the TV, it looks like shit.
No.
So are we still waiting for people or not?
We've been in the house, we're shot it in like 3 times now. See him?
Maybe they'll come out this
Maybe.
Otherwise, we'll go to basketball.
The other team, they
Bove is the short guy with the ball. That's what I was saying.
Bove is,
We know.
Yeah. So he might come out.
He should
didn't go in.
He should have gone in this way. We should have shown
We never saw him.
I know we did.
I just don't want to hear that he's telling me that I missed it.
We definitely did not.
Oh, we can use that as a saying anything. As long as it's not their fault.
Right.
So cover their ass game.
Yeah.
no, Umar, it's pool.
Who lets them in?
Where's that?
Well, protest? It's like guy right there.
I got Dave out there, so. Where's Bo? Oh, there he is. Okay. I didn't see the two front teeth.
Okay, so there's nothing going on in this hallway. The lawyers and prosecutors are here to the judge's chambers. Prosecution have a lot of attorneys waiting for me. Let's see the picture outside of the Trump flag. Maybe I should go up there and do that work instead. Oh, Farrington's there? Okay, all right, very good. All right, I'm here.
Where's Bill at the protest?
He's outside.
Okay, let me say hi to him.
Yes, I don't have to worry about that. Good, excellent.
Did he say how many people were there?
No, I just saw a picture.
Oh, okay.
I didn't speak to him, but there's a giant flag out there.
Really?
Yeah. It seems like it's 12 feet wide.
Hey, Bill, Tom, I'll be down as soon as this is over, period. Stay warm.
For the future, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this, but you know.
Looks like the kid waiting outside the principal's office.
Because we have letters from Courtroom and press. Oh, geez. But I didn't think they were gonna let us in this morning, so let me text them. We're going from my office.
No, it's important.
But these are good, these are super light. And you know, for sure a fellow like me, so. You know, I'm not like Justin Lane, where I just tower over. Put my arm up like this and it's 14 feet in the air.
Are you going back there?
Sure am.
Can you put these on the cart, please?
The first 10 frames are like wacky colors.
Well, most of the courtrooms in this building have those energy-saving lights.
Yeah, I
So
know.
if you shoot a blast of 3, one's green, one's red, one's normal.
No, it's not. It's a light.
What, the bulbs change the color?
They vary in
They
frequency.
cycle. If yours went through? Oh, I can't see what drops into our server. No. If I have to get my laptop out to look.
Pictures.reuters.com.
You didn't get a test?
No, I didn't get a bill.
A what?
I didn't get a bill. I set it up for
Dave got the bat.
And it got a fail?
Dave got the bat.
I mean,
I got one through this morning and
it's
it's
30 feet long.
So.
Oh my God, what does this guy use for flamethrower? Start a fire. This guy using a flamethrower. Where is that even getting?
Hollywood props.
Yeah? They're not cheap.
You can buy them. You used to be able to buy them from Tesla. Yeah. Yeah.
You get a can of flammable liquid and you hold a match in front of it when you spray it. It's the same thing.
Well, I don't know if it's that or it just says flamethrower.
That's the stuff you huff at night, right? You get the whipped cream and you huff it.
No, that's nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
This is propane.
New York Magazine just did a whole story on everybody using nitrous oxide these days to get high. Well, they found one woman who got addicted.
Get addicted to.
I love it.
Oh, that's it? Oh, no. What do you back to when we were stuck in that park, right, shooting through the double fence?
And it's got stuff to do with New York City. While he sits in Mar-a-Lago.
Yep.
Didn't
Curtis,
really-
your stuff went through. Yeah, all the pool picks are dropping.
It was organized since we did the trial, so, yeah. So it's like,
He's
usually
asking for
like some
explanations
provinces are
now.
approved and they rotate, so, yeah.
It's part of the pool location.
It's a free list.
Pool is formed. Pool was
You know, the
created
fire
a
that we
year
had at
ago.
Prospect Park was also started about
I can't hear you.
We had a fire in Prospect Park about a month ago.
Yeah.
Nothing heard about that?
Yeah?
That was also a homeless person started. I was up there after the next day. All this cooking and stuff was in the wood, the whole burned up. Grills, even microwaves. People throwing out their Christmas trees is usually flamethrower, light the Christmas trees on.
Just terrible what goes on in this world. Greg, isn't there anything you could do about that?
The sad thing is I've never been there, right? So I haven't seen it. I've been in San Francisco and San Diego, but not LA. Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. You know, now they say the Hollywood Bowl is in jeopardy again.
Always in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I used to live right there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's a hill, and it's all just like shitty, dry stuff all around it. It's terrible.
So it's like the mountains come down real quick, down to
Yeah, well,
to the
those,
base.
it's the Hollywood Hills.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, boom, there's like Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And then the ocean.
Yeah. Hollywood Boulevard, then Sunset Boulevard. Then,
Pacific Coast Highway.
no, Pacific Coast Highway is this, Sunset Hollywood.
Perpendicular.
Yeah, and, you know, the major, there's 4 major roads, then the 10, then the 101, basically caps at 101.
Don't forget the
Cuts
five.
off. Yeah.
The 5.
Or, sorry, the 5. The 10 is the parallel.
Is the 5 the one that goes out to Santa Monica?
5, yes.
Okay. Ventura. Is that Ventura Highway?
What do they
The
call
5?
Sing a few bars, so we know what you mean.
Well, you know, they're all from Riverside.
Yeah.
Their parents were army brats, so they were stationed in London, and they didn't want anybody to think that they were British. So that's why they named the band America. But their first album was all, you know, they have a song called Riverside, Ventura Highway, of course, as you know. All of this, you know, homesick for Southern California. Have you been, John?
Who did that? Todd Blanche? I was there.
Todd Blanche.
Tuesday.
Oh.
He was at the appeals court.
Oh, okay. Not here. Oh, all right. Now they're saying there's fires in San Diego? No.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes? Oh my God.
Santa Ana's been blowing, baby. The whole up and down.
Yeah. Well, I think
The
like
clock winds, it
close to 100, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the climatologists, I don't think they factored in. You can factor in heat, you know, temperature rise, ice cap melt, sea level rise, but I don't know if they factored in the increase in winds. You know, we work outside, right? Did you notice like there's wind all the time, not even when there's no storm? I've noticed blue sky, you know, the old days if the storm was coming, you might get a little wind before the storm.
Check.
Of course, during. Now you have 2 weeks of blue sky and it's 40-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, but that wasn't always like that. That was only when it was attached to storms coming in and leaving. We had 2 weeks of wind, blue sky. I think the climate change is making the winds higher. And that's of course, the irony of course is that that's good for wind turbines, but it's the difference if the whole country's burning down. Doesn't matter how much wind you have for wind turbines, half the country burns down. It's the great joke and irony of this whole thing.
There was an explanation on, listening to an NPR thing, was explaining it all the other day.
What was the gist of it?
I'm trying to remember. I didn't pay that much attention, I was driving.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean, I was listening, but not listening. Oh, wait.
Jesus. You want to get down, Jeff?
Yeah.
Tell him.
I just said,
Too tight over
Is anybody watching the next week?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, we did.
this was a case that Alvin Bragg did not want to bring. He thought it was inappropriately handled before he got it. A gentleman was brought in from a law firm. It was criminal what he did. He was involved with my political opponent. It was a legal expense. Experts who are no friends of mine have said this case should have been brought.
This is a quote from Trump?
This is not a case that should not have been brought. There were legal expenses. Yeah, well, so he sold gold sneakers to cover it.
Who's saying this?
Trump.
Oh, he's speaking right now?
Obviously, this did not work. I won. Well, no,
you didn't.
not in this
Did you
universe.
Well, he won.
Oh, being
He won being elected.
Oh, is that what he meant?
They're one and the same. You can't be in trouble if you're in charge.
Anybody else?
Kind of like you can deface the Capitol building, but it's okay.
As long as you wear a MAGA hat. It's fine as long as you wear a red hat.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other defendants still have to face trials.
What other defendant?
Well, you've got the defendants down at Mar-a-Lago moving those boxes around, like Malta and some other guy, I can't remember his name. And then, of course, all the January 6 folks, they're all in deep shit too still.
They're about to be pardoned.
Pardoned.
Yeah, but they still got to pay for lawyers, right? They still got to show up in court and all that. I mean, it's a nightmare.
Well, they have.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're not pardoned yet, anyway.
No. Well, they should have to pay because they fucking defaced the Capitol.
Exactly. Yeah, we probably have to pay for those repairs anyway.
We did.
And we're paying for all the security for this building every time we back up.
Trump says I was under a gag order. I assume I'm still under it. I'm totally
That I'm
innocent.
fine with. I
did
just don't
nothing
like the
wrong.
defacing of the Capitol.
The business records were
I
accurate.
love that building.
Anybody wants to hear this? All right, I'll
Yeah, no, no.
get it. Go ahead. Talk to
Jeff,
Brad.
listen.
You know the door that
What live plug are you on?
Matt, Inner City Press.
Slid by you. Can't see past you.
It looked like that door that Ashley Babbitt climbed through. That was like a 100-year-old wooden door.
Okay, he's done talking. You have a gentleman sitting right there who was with Department of Justice. He got them to move on it. They called it lawfare. I'd just like to explain I was treated very, very unfairly. Thank you very much, Judge Mershon. Thank you, Mr. Trump. So that's that. He had what he had to say. Mershon's going to pass sentence, and that's that. I'm sorry.
Well, I was like, I think it's like trauma. I got super dehydrated when I was young, like 9 years old. I'm gonna go to the hospital, like that level. Ever since then, I've always drank more water, and it just keeps getting worse. I have to like tell myself to just stop. Like on the other day, I woke up and was like, I'm not gonna try.
But everyone's sending me the application. Like, I don't have like internet or something.
No, they're encouraging you to do it.
I will do it.
Get it done.
I know.
Unless you want to stay in New York.
Is it coming to an end yet?
It's likely yes.
So I can be drunk by noon and in bed by 1?
Looks like they're putting everybody out the back door again.
What's the purpose of that?
Ask Bragg, don't ask him.
Because they are concerned that if people see their pictures, the MAGA people will come after them.
And they're probably not wrong to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron, is it over? Thank you.
Thanks. Nearing an end.
Huh?
Nearing an end.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, look what happened with those two poll workers down in Atlanta, right? They had to move.
Yep.
They were threatened.
Yep.
I mean, one woman's what, 75 years old?
Yep. They broke into her house.
Yeah, I mean.
Judge Mershon, I have sentenced countless defendants, sex trafficking and homicide. This circumstance is unique. This has been an extraordinary case, media, but once the courtroom doors closed, it was just a trial. Jury selection continued. So he's about to pass sentence.
Who is the fat?
So he's just going to get
Conditional discharge.
conditional. So then that is probation.
No, it doesn't matter. He's a felon.
I had conditional discharge once. It was terrible. It was green and oozy. It was right out of my arm.
You should be on
You ate
TV. Then I
that,
can
you ate
tell
all
you.
those jalapenos in Mexico. Came out through your skin. You don't want anything with the word discharge. But this guy's still working. He's got life, right? Like, it's amazing how many things he's wiggled out.
It's over. Where do we go?
Jack Smith drops those 2 cases. That's unbelievable. I mean, how much money did that cost the taxpayer to do that work?
Mershon, it is my obligation to consider all aggravating factors already in my Sandoval ruling and other rulings. The protections afforded to the office of the president are not a mitigating factor, but they are a legal mandate.
Interesting. Legal
It
mandate.
means you're just not going to face any punishment. That's what that means.
Well, he already said that.
Yep, no punishment. I wanna know why they didn't haul Deutsche Bank in and all the other banks that were complicit in this. I mean, he said it many times, the banks didn't run plenty, they made money. They made plenty of money. What, they don't have their own appraisers? Tell the banks what the buildings are worth? Come on.
Alright, stop it.
Still going? Almost, oh, you're scaring us. I know. That's the second time she came running out of that door. Jesus.
I don't know. Lunch.
Lunch. Is it noon already? Right, Jeff?
I was gonna do this leapfrog. I need a new back and a new spine. No, that doesn't help. Fuck you up. Is that yours? Or is that yours? I saw that too.
I'm just waiting for G.
This one.
Post office.
I don't think I got it.
Yes, you're gonna hold.
You were the second photo. You were the second photo. You were the second photo.
Wait. It wasn't slow, I thought. And?
Yep.
Green cards out. Green cards out. Green cards out. Green cards out.
Writing. The blurb, as we call it.
Green cards out, guys.
I have it, that's all I'll say.
Green cards out. Blue cards out, please. Green cards out.
Return your cards, please.
Green cards out. Green cards will be collected. Green cards out. Now, there's more on this down there.
Please return your cards.
Green cards out. Green cards are being collected. Keep walking this way. Green cards out.
Okay, the elevator's working. Return your cards, please.
Thank you very much. Turn your cards down there. Green cards out. Keep them card out. They're being collected. Keep the green cards out. Green cards out.
Oh, that was fun.
Green cards out. They're being collected. Green cards out. No.
Thank you. Yeah. But for whatever reason, when I opened
Green cards out. That's all I like. Green cards out. They're being collected.
I left mine. I told her to make her. I lost mine.
You did. I can attest that.
Want me to wait until the cocktail's over? Or?
You don't have it on?
Yeah, I didn't have it when I went. Can I ask how big? Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It's just a picture.
next time.
Thank you, man. Good luck out there.
Thank you very much.
Oh, God.
One person was standing there. This was told that I was first. Angela was second.
First picture, the one who's been pointing on the screen.
That was the fifth one. Looking at the
I didn't really get that.
It was right, no, right when we walked in.
Oh yeah?
Was it the beginning? Yeah, it was at the beginning. I mostly just saw the screen.
You stay.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
John? All right. Good job.
Sorry, Lenny. You're going back. That's fine. You're going back.
My brother's birthday. And he lives here, so I figured I'd have dinner with him. Sorry.
I'm going to take those ones. Yeah.
Are you guys down? You shut down, right?
We're not down right now.
Oh.
Should we be down?
No.
Okay.
and I was, yeah, we saw her come here.
I'm in here.
She came.
Listen, unless you're really in New York,
Unless you're really a New Yorker.
unless you're really in New York, she's just visiting from DC.
She moves from DC.
I'm glad we didn't have to go all day. I mean, you could hear how far away he was.
He was speaking loud.
The closest I've gotten is when the trials first started in this courthouse. And it was nothing organized. Were you here for that? And that there was a day that even his daughter came through, like there. So they came to the back, and then everyone was waiting, and then all of a sudden you just see Trump come up from the back. On a different floor, probably. Because it wasn't like this. It was like on the other end. be here until they're clear so we can use the bump shot. That's why they took all the It's just a silly hang-up though. Until they take us out. That's us.
We have to break down.
Yeah, we gotta break it down. Okay. I don't know you guys are waiting for, it's nothing else. Everyone's going.
Oh, we know.
Where are these going anyway?
You didn't find it?
Where would these go? Where the barricades going?
He's got to go 59 in the closet.
59 closet? This closet? This closet?
This one, these two?
No, those go over there.
He's going to go.
He's going to the wind.
That's what
That's what I meant, so these go over there.
Okay, cameras down, step out, please. Cameras down, step out. Okay, you follow me out. All rise. Court 59 is now in session. The Honorable Walter shall preside.
Good morning. Please be seated.
Calling Part 59 calendar number 1, Donald Trump, indictment 71543 of 23.
Your appearances, please.
Good morning. For the people, ADAs Joshua Steinglass, Christopher Conroy, Susan Hoffinger, Becky Mangold, Matthew Colangelo, and Catherine Ellis.
Good morning, people.
Emil Bovey for President Trump, who's appearing via Teams. He's co-located with my partner, Todd Blanche.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Bovey. Good morning, Mr. Blanche. Good morning, Mr. Trump.
Good morning.
Although Mr. Bovey has already alluded to it, just for the record, I want to make clear that Mr. Blanche is appearing virtually with Mr. Trump. And you're currently in Florida, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Trump's other attorney, Mr. Bovey, is with us in the courtroom. Pursuant to this court's decision and order dated January 3rd, 2025, Mr. Trump was given the option of appearing virtually, and subsequently counsel for Mr. Trump informed this court that Mr. Trump had elected to waive personal appearance and appear virtually. The position of sentence in this matter is permitted in New York, and I direct your attention to the matter of People v. Reyes, 72 Miscellaneous 3rd, 1133, 2021. Before turning to the matter of sentencing, I want to confirm that the people and defense counsel have both received copies of the probation report. You have not?
Thank you.
Let the record reflect that the people are being handed a copy now. Mr. Bogey's being handed a copy. Why don't you take some time and look at it, okay?
Thank you.
While the parties look at the probation report, Mr. Blanch, I'd like to confirm that you received an e-copy of the report?
Yes, Your Honor. We received a copy this morning, and I have it in front of me.
Is there anything about that report that you would like to put on the record?
Nothing other than the fact that it was that some of the facts and procedural history, especially involving other cases, are not up to date because of what's happened since the date of the report, but otherwise, given what we expect is happening today, nothing.
Okay, thank you. People, is there anything about the probation report that you would like to put on the record?
No, Judge, I just need a couple
Do you need more
minutes,
time?
if you don't mind. Thank you, Judge.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything that we need to put on the record about it.
Okay, thank you. Let's impose sentence, please.
Donald Trump, you're before the court for sentence following your conviction by trial to 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Before being sentenced, the court will allow you, your attorney, and the assistant district attorney an opportunity to address the court with any matters relevant to sentencing. For the people?
Thank you. Judge, where's the preferred place for me to stand?
Wherever you feel comfortable.
Okay. The defendant in this case, as you know, stands convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree, all Class E felonies. Each carries a range of authorized sentencing options for as much as 1 1/3 to 4 years in state prison to a variety of non-incarceratory sentences. In this court's January 3rd decision, on the defendant's Clayton motion, Your Honor indicated an inclination to impose an unconditional discharge. Under all the circumstances of this case, its unique posture and the defendant's status as president-elect, the people recommend a sentence of an unconditional discharge. In finding the defendant guilty in this case, the jury necessarily found unanimously that the defendant falsified 34 separate entries in his business records with the intent to defraud, which included an intent to commit or conceal a conspiracy to promote his own election by unlawful means. Having presided over the trial, Your Honor is very familiar with the conduct, its seriousness, and the overwhelming evidence to support the jury's verdict. I'm certainly not going to rehash that now. In last week's decision on January 3rd, this court referred to the gravamen of the defendant's conduct, his criminal conduct in this case, as constituting, quote, premeditated and continuous deception. The verdict was delivered by a jury that was carefully chosen using an extensive questionnaire based on suggestions from both parties and after thorough questioning of the prospective jurors by both sides. The verdict in this case was unanimous and decisive, and it must be respected. As this court has observed, quote, the sanctity of a jury verdict and the deference that must be accorded to it is a bedrock principle in our nation's jurisprudence. The defendant's conduct before, during, and after this trial also merits consideration. Instead of preserving, protecting, and defending our constitutionally established system of criminal justice, the defendant, the once and future President of the United States, has engaged in a coordinated campaign to undermine its legitimacy. Far from expressing any kind of remorse for his criminal conduct, the defendant has purposefully bred disdain for our judicial institutions and the rule of law. And he's done this to serve his own ends and to encourage others to reject the jury verdict that he finds so distasteful. He has characterized these proceedings as corrupt, rigged, a witch hunt, or a sham too many times to tabulate. The defendant's rhetoric has only ratcheted up since this court's rulings on his motions to dismiss. He has been unrelenting in his unsubstantiated attacks upon this court and its family, individual prosecutors and their families, the witnesses, the grand jury, the trial jury, and the justice system as a whole. The defendant has not only been held in contempt by other jurists in other matters, but this court alone found the defendant in contempt for 10 distinct violations of the order restricting extrajudicial speech. In his legal filings, the defendant has used dangerous rhetoric in leveling accusations of intentionally unlawful and unconstitutional conduct on the part of this court and the prosecution. As this court has noted, the defendant's conduct, quote, constitutes a direct attack on the rule of law itself. Moreover, the defendant has publicly threatened to retaliate against the prosecutors who have sought to hold him accountable in this and other matters, and the courts who have endeavored to fairly and faithfully adjudicate these matters. Such threats are designed to have a chilling effect, to intimidate those who have the responsibility to enforce our laws, in the hopes that they will ignore the defendant's transgressions because they fear that he is simply too powerful to be subjected to the same rule of law as the rest of us. In his 2024 end-of-year report, United States Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts warned of the dangers of such conduct. Quote, public officials, too, regrettably, have engaged in recent attempts to intimidate judges. For example, suggesting political bias in the judge's adverse rulings without credible basis for such allegations, end quote. Chief Justice Roberts continued, quote, Attempts to intimidate judges for their rulings are inappropriate and should be vigorously opposed. Public officials certainly have a right to criticize the work of the judiciary, but they should be mindful that intemperance in their statements when it comes to judges may prompt dangerous reactions by others. Chief Justice Roberts also spoke of the dangers of disinformation, which are, quote, magnified by social media, which provides a ready channel to instantly spread rumor and false information. Put simply, this defendant has caused enduring damage to public perception of the criminal justice system and has placed officers of the court in harm's way. In the probation report, which we just received this morning, the author, having interviewed the defendant, noted that the defendant sees himself as above the law and won't accept responsibility for his actions. And that's certainly consistent with everything else that we've seen. Now, in a typical case, both the offense conduct and these other exacerbating factors would impact the appropriate sentence. But in this case, we must be respectful of the office of the presidency and mindful of the fact that the defendant will be inaugurated as president in 10 days. Any undischarged portion of a sentence has the potential to interfere with the defendant's performance of the duties of his office. As a practical matter, the most sensible sentence prior to his inauguration is an unconditional discharge. The court has expressed an inclination to do exactly that because, in the court's words, quote, the most viable solution to ensure finality and allow defendant to pursue his appellate options is to proceed to sentence. Now, as you know, in New York, a conditional discharge is authorized by penal law, quote, if the court, having regard to the nature and circumstances of the offense and to the history, character, and condition of the defendant, is of the opinion that neither the public interest nor the ends of justice would be served by a sentence of imprisonment, and that probation supervision is not appropriate. An unconditional discharge is authorized if a conditional discharge is authorized and, quote, if the court is of the opinion that no proper purpose would be served by imposing any condition upon the defendant's release. Because these crimes are felonies, the court must set forth in the record the reasons for its action. The American public has the right to a presidency unencumbered by pending court proceedings or ongoing sentence-related obligations. But imposing this sentence ensures that finality. Sentencing the defendant permits this court to enter judgment, to cement the defendant's status as a convicted felon while he pursues whatever appeals he intends to pursue. And it gives full effect and respect to the jury's verdict while preserving the defendant's ability to govern. The people therefore recommend that this court impose a sentence of an unconditional discharge. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I very much disagree with much of what the government just said about this case, about the legitimacy of what happened in this courtroom during the trial, and about President Trump's conduct fighting this case from before it was indicted, to while it was indicted, through the jury's verdict, and even to this day. What the government just said presupposes something that we disagree with very much, which was that this was an appropriate case to be brought. It was not. This case, without a doubt, knowing everything we know about the timing of the investigation, the fact that multiple prosecutors looked at the fact of this case, including prosecutors within the district attorney's office in New York County, and made a decision not to bring charges. As the court knows, shortly after President Trump announced his intention to run for re-election, this case was started for what amounted to a third time, which brings us ultimately to where we are today. A lot of what the government just said presupposes that this case is legally appropriate and that the charges that were brought by the people were consistent with the laws of New York. Again, we very much disagree with that, and as everybody has been noted, because it's true, we certainly intend on appealing that. And it's not, by the way, just counsel and President Trump that feels that way. There's many, many, many legal experts that share the same views that I just said, which is that legally this case should not have been brought, both based on the facts that were established at trial and also on the legal basis for which they were brought. But it's also not just the legal experts, not just counsel, and not just President Trump, but the majority of the American people also agree that this case should not have been brought. I mean, the interesting thing about the fact that there was a trial for the first time in our history, a criminal trial during an election season, is that the American voters got a chance to see and decide for themselves whether this is the kind of case that should have been brought. And they decided. And that's why in 10 days, President Trump is going to assume the office of the President of the United States. And certainly we're here for the court to sentence President Trump to an unconditional discharge. And for that, it's a very sad day. It's a sad day for President Trump and his family and friends. But it's also, in counsel's view, a sad day for this country, because this was a case, without a doubt, that was brought by a district attorney who promised that he would go after President Trump if elected and felt like he had to go through with that promise. And so that's sad. And I hope, and I know that President Trump shares this view, that this will never happen again in this country. And so we certainly understand where we are today. We very much intend on pursuing an appeal of this verdict and what happened during this investigation. And we certainly believe that the only appropriate sentence, if one's to be imposed at all, which we very much believe it shouldn't be, and that the case should be dismissed, is a sentence of an unconditional discharge. Thank you.
Thank you. Would your client like to be heard?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. This has been a very terrible experience. I think it's been a tremendous setback for New York and the New York court system. This was a case that Alvin Bragg did not want to bring. He thought it was, from what I read and from what I hear, inappropriately handled before he got there. A gentleman from a law firm came in and acted as a district attorney, and that gentleman, from what I heard, was a criminal or almost criminal in what he did. It was very inappropriate. It was somebody involved with my political opponent. Part of the records that we're talking about, they're saying, I just noticed where he said I was falsifying business records. Well, the falsification of business records, as they said, was calling a legal expense in the books where everybody could see them, a legal expense. In other words, that legal fees or legal expense were put down as legal expense by accountants. They weren't put down by me, they were put down by accountants. I didn't call them construction, concrete work. I didn't call them electrical work. I didn't call them anything. They called a legal fee or a legal expense, and for this, I got indicted. It's incredible, actually. Now, if you look, my attorney alluded to it, the top legal scholars and legal pundits in this country, the ones that are quoted all the time on television, that are making their views felt and highly respected people, have said, everyone, virtually everyone that I know of, haven't seen any to the contrary, not one, and none. These people are not exactly friends of mine, to put it mildly. but they all said this is a case that should have never been brought. It's an injustice of justice. Very respected Jonathan Turley, Andy McCarthy, Judge David Rifkin, a wonderful man who just passed away, by the way, Greg Jarrett, Ellie Honig from CNN, of all places. CNN said that, Paul Ingratian, Alan Dershowitz, they all said this is not a case that should be brought. It's not, think about it, legal expenses are down as legal expenses, and I get indicted for business records. Everybody should be so accurate. It's been a political witch hunt. It was done to damage my reputation so that I'd lose the election, and obviously that didn't work. And the people of our country got to see this firsthand because they watched the case in your courtroom. They got to see this firsthand, and then they voted, and I won and got the largest number of votes by far of any Republican candidate in history, and won, as you know, all 7 swing states, won conclusively all 7 swing states, and won the popular vote by millions and millions of votes. And they've been watching your trial, so they understood it. I wasn't allowed to use the lawyer-client privilege or the reliance on counsel. I had a lawyer that made this deal, and he admitted that. And he was also a totally discredited person. We weren't allowed to use the information from the Southern District that totally discredited him. It wasn't allowed to be put in. And that was terrible, unbelievable. And this is a man who's got no standing. He's been disbarred on other matters, unrelated. And he was allowed to talk as though he were George Washington. But he's not George Washington. He shouldn't have been allowed. The Southern District did a book of approximately 28 pages where I've never seen anything like it. They excoriated him. You wouldn't let it be put into evidence. So he was able to testify as a witness, and I think it's a disgrace to the system. I was under a gag order. I'm the first president in history that was under a gag order where I couldn't talk about aspects of the case that are very important. I guess I'm still under, so probably I won't do it now. I assume I'm still under a gag order. But the fact is that I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong. They talked about business records, and the business records were extremely accurately counted. I had nothing to do with them. That was done by an accountant or a bookkeeper who I think gave very credible testimony and was corroborated by everybody that was asked. And with all that's happening in our country today, with a city that's burning to the ground, one of our largest, most important cities burning to the ground, with wars that are uncontrollably going on, with all of the problems of inflation and attacks on countries and all of the horrible things that are going on, I got indicted over calling a legal expense a legal expense. It was called a legal expense. I just want to say I think it's an embarrassment to New York, and New York has a lot of problems, but this is a great embarrassment. I believe that this and other cases that were brought, as you know, the DOJ is very much involved in this case. It's because that's the political opponent they're talking about. The DOJ is very involved. You have a gentleman sitting right there from the DOJ who was from the DOJ's office. He was also involved with the New York State Attorney General's case. And he went from there to here. He went around and did what he had to do. He got them to move on me. But in the meantime, I won the election in a massive landslide. And the people of this country understand what's gone on. This has been a weaponization of government. They call it lawfare. Never happened to any extent like this, but never happened in our country before. And I'd just like to explain that I was treated very, very unfairly. And I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, you appear before this court today to conclude this criminal proceeding by the imposition of sentence. Although I have taken the unusual step of informing you in advance of my inclinations, before imposing sentence, I believe it is important for you, as well as those observing these proceedings, to understand my reasoning for the sentence I am about to impose. The imposition of sentence is one of the most difficult and significant decisions that any criminal court judge is called upon to make. Our legislature sets the parameters for an authorized sentence, but it is a judge that must decide what constitutes a just conclusion to a verdict of guilty. A court is vested with broad discretion in determining what sources or evidence it may consider to arrive at an appropriate sentence. In doing so, the court must consider the facts of the case along with any aggravating or mitigating circumstances. In my time on the bench, I've been called upon to grapple with this weighty responsibility for countless defendants who have been found guilty after trial for an assortment of offenses, ranging from nonviolent Class E felonies to the most heinous of crimes, including homicides, sex trafficking, and child sexual abuse. The task is always difficult and deserving of careful consideration, whether the sentence be an unconditional discharge or incarceration of 25 years to life. However, never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances. Indeed, it can be viewed fairly that this has been a truly extraordinary case. There was unprecedented media attention, public interest, and heightened security involving various agencies. And yet, the trial was a bit of a paradox because once the courtroom doors were closed, the trial itself was no more special, unique, or extraordinary than the other 32 criminal trials that took place in this courthouse at the same exact time. Jury selection was conducted, the same rules of evidence were followed, opening statements were made, witnesses called and cross-examined, evidence presented, summations delivered, the same burden of proof was applied, and a jury made up of ordinary citizens delivered a verdict. And it was all conducted pursuant to the rules of procedure and guided by the law. Of course, part of what made it feel somewhat ordinary was the outstanding work, preparation, and professionalism of the clerks, court officers, court reporters, security personnel, and the entire staff of this building who did their jobs as they would with any other criminal trial. So while one can argue that the trial itself was in many respects somewhat ordinary, the same cannot be said about the circumstances surrounding this sentencing. And that is because of the office you once occupied and which you will soon occupy again. To be sure, it is the legal protections afforded to the office of the President of the United States that are extraordinary, not the occupant of the office. The legal protections, especially within the context of a criminal prosecution, afforded to the office of the President have been laid out by our founders, the Constitution, and most recently interpreted by the United States Supreme Court in the matter of Trump versus the United States, which was decided on July 1st, 2024. As with every other defendant in your position, it is my obligation to consider any and all aggravating and mitigating factors to inform my decision. Some of those aggravating factors have already been articulated in my Sandoval ruling at the start of this trial and by my recent written decisions on December 16th and January 3rd. Thus, they need not be repeated at this time. However, the considerable, indeed, extraordinary legal protections afforded by the office of the Chief Executive is a factor that overrides all others. To be clear, the protections afforded the office of the President are not a mitigating factor. They do not reduce the seriousness of the crime or justify its commission in any way. The protections are, however, a legal mandate which, pursuant to the rule of law, this court must respect and follow. However, despite the extraordinary breadth of those protections, one power they do not provide is the power to erase a jury verdict. It is clear from legal precedent, which until July 1st was scarce, that Donald Trump, the ordinary citizen, Donald Trump, the criminal defendant, would not be entitled to such considerable protections. I'm referring to protections that extend well beyond those afforded the average defendant who winds their way through the criminal justice system each day. No, ordinary citizens do not receive those legal protections. It is the office of the president that bestows those far-reaching protections to the office holder. And it was the citizenry of this nation that recently decided that you should once again receive the benefits of those protections, which include, among other things, the Supremacy Clause and presidential immunity. It is through that lens and that reality that this court must determine a lawful sentence. After careful analysis, in obedience to governing mandates, and pursuant to the rule of law, this court has determined that the only lawful sentence that permits entry of a judgment of conviction without encroaching upon the highest office in the land is an unconditional discharge, which the New York State Legislature has determined is a lawful and permissible sentence for the crime of falsifying business records in the first degree. Therefore, at this time, I impose that sentence to cover all 34 counts. Sir, I wish you Godspeed as you assume your second term in office. Thank you. Have you given your client his written notice of right to appeal?
We will, yeah.
وجوده في البيت الأبيض لن يعطيه تبعات هذه الحكم. الحقيقة هذه نقطة قانونية بالغة الأهمية، يعني ترامب لا يستطيع العفو عن نفسه حتى عندما يتسلم السلطة. سلطة العفو الرئاسي لا تشمل التهم الموجهة من ولايات أخرى كولاية نيويورك، ما يعني أنه هذا الحكم سيبقى قائما بغض النظر عن عودة ترامب إلى السلطة. الديمقراطي ترامب لا يزال يستطيع حتى هذه الساعة ولكن ما هو الأهم أننا ننتظر من سيتسلم السلطة سيدخل إلى البيت الأبيض وهو مدان.
Gracias.